February 22nd, 2022 to order. I'm just making sure you guys are all paying attention.
I love it.
Jeez, the invocation and pledge allegiance will be led by Councilmember Leopard.
Will you please join with me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Leopard.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
Rhodes.
Here.
Gillig. Yanatuno. Here. Jones.
Present.
Let the record show that 6 of the 7 council members are present. Minutes from February 7th, regular and committee of the whole meeting were distributed. Are there any questions, corrections, or deletions? Seeing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Committee reports, Finance Committee. Anyone from the Finance Committee have?
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Law and Community Planning, Councilman Leopard.
Thank you. The Law and Community Planning Committee meeting was held Monday, February 7th, 2022 in the City Council chambers. Attending were committee members Steve Leopard, Ben Gillig, and Dan Perry, City Council members Zach Perkins and Jeff Rhodes, City Administrator Dale Thornton, Director of Law Brent Howard, Director of Finance Kathleen Kaufman, Mayor Aaron Montz, Adam Gilmore representing TSEP, along with Brian Suter, Rick Suter, and Zach Allen, owners of ZRB Brewers. Leopard called the meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. and announced the purpose of the meeting was to discuss the mayor's request for legislation 22-02, City Hall Annex renovation, sale and transfer of city property, and any other business presented to the committee. City Administrator Dale Thornton reported that the Finance Department, which is housed in the City Hall Annex, had no significant updates in the last 42 years and is in desperate need of renovation to operate efficiently and to bring it to conformance with current law related to the American with Disabilities Act. Preliminary single-line drawings of this renovation were completed last year by Hales Architectural Services and were made available for the committee review. The 2022 capital budget approved by City Council contains $250,000 for this renovation, along with another $50,000 separately for furniture in the renovated space. The $250,000 capital expense is expected to cover the costs of an architect to prepare the bid documents and manage the construction project, as well as the anticipated cost of demolition and renovation. City Administrator Thornton reported that the current space and design is not user-friendly for the public nor the tax and sewer departments. A conference room will be added along with a centralized finance director office, HVAC updates along with other mechanical systems, fire alarm system, and furniture to accommodate the space. The tax commissioner is currently located in an area that is open. The renovation will provide a space where business can be conducted in private. The annex will be altered to connect with City Hall, meeting ADA requirements, serving the public more efficiently. City Administrator Thornton reported that the intention is to relocate the finance, tax, and sewer departments into areas of City Hall so that demolition and construction can take place after tax season in the months of June, July, and August. Anticipated construction will last from 90 to 120 days. The architect has met with the employees of the annex to determine needs and input. A motion was introduced by committee member Perry to authorize the city administrator to prepare plans, specifications, advertise for and receive bids, and recommend and execute contracts for the City Hall Annex renovations and furnishings and declaring an emergency. The motion was seconded and passed unanimously. The ordinance was prepared and will be presented to City Council during the regular meeting later this evening. Item 2, sale and transfer of city property. Law Director Howard informed the committee that the property in question is a 2-foot wide strip of land plus the width of a wall located at 190 South Washington Street, the former Dr. Schreiner property now owned by ZRB Brewers, beside the city parking lot number 5. ZRB Brewers do own the land along the side of the building. A portion of the land in question was once an alley that was vacated in the late 1960s, and there is a sewer on the property that the city will require an easement so that we can maintain, repair, and replace the combined sewer line when required. ZRB Brewers informed the committee that their plans are to remove billboards on the side of the building, open archways on the side of the building that were once bricked in, and to create an outdoor Dora refreshment area in that space that they and the city currently own. ZRB Brewers does understand the real estate purchase agreement that had been presented to them, along with the easement requirement by the city and the current law. Mayor Mont stated that the agreement is in the best interest of the city of Tiffin and that ZRB Brewers will be an asset to the community in downtown. The timeline was explained to ZRB Brewers concerning the sale and transfer of property if the committee agreed to introduce an ordinance. Committee member Perry introduced a motion to authorize the conveyance of property to ZRB Brewers LLC or its designee adjacent to 190 South Washington Street, Tiffin, Ohio, as approved by the mayor. The motion was seconded and approved by a vote of 3-0. An ordinance was prepared and will be introduced at the regular city council meeting later this evening. A request for legislation from the Director of Law will be presented at the regular meeting of City Council later this evening that will be assigned to the Law and Community Planning Committee. Chairman Leopard asks that the committee act upon the request this evening to avoid delaying necessary legislation. The request is an update of the 2022 codified ordinances prepared by the Walter H. Drain Company. These proposed changes to the city code contain the amendments approved by the Tiffin City Council during the past 2 years and revisions to conform current state law where applicable. Director of Law Howard explained that the updates were general law of the state of Ohio along with the code sections the City Council has enacted. A motion was introduced by Committee Member Gillig to authorize the Law Director Howard to prepare legislation to revise the codified ordinances by adopting replacement pages and entering into a contract with the Walter H. Drain Company to prepare and publish such revision. Motion was seconded and passed unanimously. No further business. Meeting adjourned at 6:32 p.m.
Thank you. I don't miss those reports.
Rub it in.
Any questions for Councilman Leopard? Okay, thank you. Materials and equipment, Councilmember Jones.
No report at this time, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Perry.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Recreation and Public Property, Councilman Rhodes.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers, Councilmember Perkins.
Yes, thank you. A Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee meeting was held Friday, February 18th at 12 noon on site at 170 West Davis Street. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss alley vacation petition number 108, Family of Faith LCMC. In attendance were City Engineer Matt Watson and Council Members Perkins, Leopard, Perry, and Iannatuno. City Engineer Matt Watson began the meeting by explaining that the purpose for the alley vacation is to merge two properties both owned by Family of Faith LCMC, which would allow them to provide off-street parking for future business needs. Councilmember Perkins asked how the alley would be divided up if the properties were to ever be sold individually in the future, and Engineer Watson explained the alley is just divided evenly between the properties. Councilmember Leopard then proceeded to make a motion to have Director of Law Brent Howard prepare legislation for alley vacation petition number 108, and it was seconded by Councilmember Iannatuno. The motion carried with a vote of 4-0. With no further committee business to discuss, the committee adjourned at 12:03.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Economic Development and Downtown Planning, Councilmember Yana Tuno.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Committee of the Whole, does anyone see the need for a Committee of the Whole meeting? Okay, we are now under reports of the officers. His Honor, Mayor Aaron D. Mons.
Thank you, Madam President. First off, Dawn, it's great to have you back. Glad to see you here this evening. Ken, we're glad to have you back as well.
Okay,
So
thank you.
nice to have a nearly full council, I think, for the first time this year. So we're close, we're close. This evening, we have Bryce Kuhn and Mason Correll from the Tiffin Parks Department here. They have a very special announcement that we teased at the last council meeting for the Tiffin City Parks. If you two want to kind of make your way up here, I'm going to let them do the announcement because they've done a lot of the hard work on it. But essentially, this is the first proposal on how we plan to use COVID dollars. These were the American Rescue Plan Act dollars. The city of Tiffin received $1.8 million from the federal government. That was after the state of Ohio stole half the money that was originally intended for us and should have been $3.6 million. But that's neither here nor there. What the state wants to do, we all know they do it, but we're going to use our money in ways that we can benefit the entire community and do some things really outside the box because we believe in building foundations for this city to continue to be successful and to attract families here and keep the young families that we have in the Tiffin community. So without further ado, our Director of Parks and Recreation, Bryce Kuhn, and his right-hand man, Mason Correll, are here for the presentation this evening. So, gentlemen, take it away.
I have to say, like, we usually come requesting or asking for additional funds, but the funds are actually already there. We just need your approval for the project. So I got a short video here, kind of overview of what we're presenting to you guys, and we can go on from there. Nick?
Okay.
Sorry, we had a video.
That's it. That's all. Short and sweet.
Shoot.
So Bryce and Mason, why don't you explain exactly what it is? Because it's not just your common, it's not just a very large playground. There's a lot more to it.
So we actually had started this project, it'll be 4 years already, this coming May. Something of this extreme obviously has a high price dollar value. We know that the need is here to be in Tiffin as far as all accessibility. During COVID, we did a big ADA strategic plan for the parks, city in general, and this is a big thing that we're lacking in, the accessibility piece. If you looked at the ramp, for example, it's not just, you can fit 2 wheelchairs passing. So kids coming down can also face someone that's going up the hill rather than having to wait and having that interchange. There's transfer stations, which if anybody that has, somebody in a wheelchair of any sort, it's hard, A, to lift them up, but also to drop them down without hurting your back. So there's different stages to get them to the slide that allows you like a couple inches to transfer from the wheelchair to just a 3-4 inches below that is a transfer station. Then you can drop down to the slide. There's pieces on that, which Nick, if you could just, maybe we can, we won't go piece by piece, but slides, there's metal slides that are coming back. Anybody that has cochlear implants or has family members with cochlear implants, the static from the slides creates havoc, I guess, for individuals that have cochlear implants. So there's a metal slide in this piece to make sure that they're able to use this. There's cozy pods. We're still working on that. There's cozy pods, egg shapes. The kids maybe with autism that can go in and just feel the sense of security being wrapped by this plastic piece that allows them to teeter-tock back and forth, roll around. But all this would be going out at Hedges where the current playground is now. The reason we chose Hedges, A, it's our complex park, right? It's 78 acres, it has trails, has our swimming pool, has the ball fields, has accessibility parking, handicap parking. So here's kind of the overlay. Bottom left of the screen where the Google is, you're going to see that's our the concession stand and the restroom facility. That will be getting revamped as well to make that ADA compliant. It's going to be a big rework of the entire area. So yeah, next piece if you would like. Again, we talked about the inclusion piece. The communication board, which is kind of a key piece. It's picture items that they could point to if someone's deaf to maybe illustrate what they're trying to address, or hey, let's go over to the balance beam, and they can point to the balance beam. And then it's a unique piece. I don't know, every time I watch that video, my heart starts racing because I'm like so excited for this. Think about it, we have the School of Opportunity, we have the Tiffin Developmental Center right here in our own community. This is a market that we don't have and we can't meet within our current plans for the parks. Yeah, there's the egg shape I was telling you about, the cozy pod. Kind of just wraps them, makes them feel secure. The nice thing about this surfacing too, we started doing this at a couple of our other parks. It's poured in play surfacing, the rubber material. It doesn't walk away, it doesn't get stuffed in kids' shoes when they leave. You can't throw it. It's permanent, which makes it ADA compliant. So a wheelchair, a kid with a walker, or a dog with a walker, anything, it allows them to be able to use the play structure. Yeah, it makes me think the report. I mean, to talk about there, it's. I don't know. Are you guys' hearts pounding?
Love it. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I know, Bryce, when you shared with us, it's gotten, me very excited, and I know the city administrator and others and Kathy, and it's exciting because we don't have anything like this in the community. And it's an all-inclusive playground for everyone, but that also means even grandparents who are now becoming more and more primary or at least secondary caregivers for kids are able to access the site easier because it's much safer for them. But anyone can use it. It's not just for kids with sensory issues or special needs. They can use it, but anyone can use it. And it's going to be the largest playground that we've ever had, probably by a long shot. It's just going to be absolutely a huge playground for the kids in this community to really give them something good to do. So whether or not you have sensory issues, whether you're handicapped or whether you're completely healthy, it's great for anyone to be able to use it, and especially grandparents and parents as well will be able to get out there and actually enjoy time with their kids, because we don't realize how many individuals that we have in this community either have a handicapped parent, grandparent, child, etc. And now everyone will be able to enjoy the playgrounds equally here in the Tiffin community.
Correct. I would just that's really cool, this rocking raft. You can see an individual there's with a wheelchair. So you can wheel up the ramp there and down in and be part of everything else. There's no separation. Over the years, you can see the playground playground designs and themes have changed. Before, you used to have your little 2 to 5 section, 2 to 5-year-old section, your 6 to 11. Everything was kind of separated out. Now, hence the inclusion piece, bringing everybody as one, communicating and working together, but being that one solid community, which if this goes through and when this does go through, this will be a destination for Tiffin and Seneca County.
It's the biggest one you've been able to find in the near area at all. I know Toledo just put in a big one, but there's nothing like this around here. It's going to be a destination for young families or even grandparents to take their kids. And I think it's a piece if you're looking, you need to relocate to this area of Ohio, and especially if you'd have a special needs child. But even if you don't, it's going to put it higher on the priority list of knowing that this is a community that embraces everyone and that we're really doing our part to make sure kids have equal opportunity regardless of whether or not they may be handicapped or have sensory issues or other things. It's going to be awesome. It really gets my heart racing. And I know I saw Dale and Kathy's face in the meeting. Kathy's just as excited as she was that day. I think Kathy's going to run out with her cats and I'll run out with the dogs. And we're going to have a cats and dogs play. Yeah, this is
Sand. They can't dig in that sand.
Yeah, they can't dig in the sand now, Kathy.
It's a great enhancement, though, to the quality of life that we offer to residents in Tiffin. Will attract more people to come here because of something like this. The equipment we have there now is pretty dated. That which it's replacing, which is still useful, will be relocated to some of our other parks. But much of that equipment has already reached the end of its useful life. Replacing it with something like this is going to really excite, I think, all of the residents of Tiffin. And it is a turnkey operation. So what you see up there will be installed by this company to include the retaining wall, the sidewalks, the surface that Bryce described. So and Bryce, you didn't say how long will it take them to do this installation once they get started?
So once it's approved in 90 days? 91, I think.
We have a motion.
No, our planned timeline is all the equipment would come in like 3 to 4 semis. It would be using the pool parking lot. So we're going to wait till the pool closes and use the fall time to do the revamp. Just because the fall time is kind of our quiet time. Everybody's back in back in pool or back in schools. So you're looking, it's a lead time of 16 weeks to get the equipment, but you're looking about a month to be about turned over. So hopefully in October, kind of that's start the middle of October is what we're thinking for. Big dedication.
Yeah.
So.
Very exciting.
Yes, Councilor.
I love this project, especially with kids in Tiffin. This is very exciting. Anything to get kids outside and off a screen, I'm all about. So, but I am curious, how much is something like? Yeah, I just want to know.
Well, if we can, no. Next page, it'll show. Yeah, there's another aerial. It kind of, you can see the dark piece at the top. That is the existing trail that kind of wraps around the ball field.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that where the ball field is now?
So this side here would be the kind of the hillside that's down to the creek. Which, if you guys had gone through the hedges at all, we did kind of do some creek restoration and ripped out some of that area with knowing that we would be hopefully moving forward with this project. So it'd be a better visual when you come down the hill by the YMCA looking at this. So yeah, so just cover that up and you're good. $716,000.
Yeah.
So if you life expectancy of playgrounds 20 years. But if we do pay one time,
I thought they were doing $1 million.
So
This will all be funded.
Yeah, this would, the proposal. So when Bryce first came to me 4+ years ago with this idea, it was one of those things that it was very daunting to come up with that kind of money. We knew we'd have to find grants or get really creative. And with the COVID spending dollars, one of the things that are listed is it's something that helps serve an underutilized population. And in many ways this does. It allows grandparents who may be elderly have access, kids with special needs, So it checked many of the boxes, and it's clear 100% that something like this is a very easy eligible expense. And it also, we finally will have a playground that's ADA compliant. And as Bryce mentioned, as part of this, they're going to upgrade the concession stand and the restrooms. They'll be ADA compliant now at Hedges. They have never been before. So it's really going to make Hedges Boyer Park, which of course is the most highest traffic park, ADA compliant and allow everyone equal access to things, whether or not they have a disability. But I think this is just a tremendous use of these dollars. You know, you see a lot of cities going out and they're doing all sorts of things with it, but I think this is one way that it's a way to because we've got to remember the COVID dollars that were here with ARPA, there are tax dollars. They're just coming back to us from the federal government. So let's put this out into a community use versus going out and either, you know, spending on something that is not nearly as necessary. Some cities are doing some of these crazy wish list type of things that they never would have done if it was their own local tax dollars. Whereas this is something that's going to give generations something to talk about, growing up on. Remember that awesome playground that we played at in Tiffin? And you know, it just thrills me to know that kids who have probably never set foot on a playground because of issues that they have, whether it's just something as simple as cochlear implants. Bryce explained that. I had no idea, but they can't use slides. So kids with cochlear implants have probably never in their life gotten to go down a slide or plastic slide. Sorry, can't use plastic slides, so they haven't been able to do that. Or any of the kids that are wheelchair bound or even have autism, or they've never been able to use a playground in their life. And now they're going to have the ability to do that any day that the weather's nice enough here in Tiffin. So plus it's great for everyone else as well. It's not just them, but. Yeah, so I hope council gets behind this and supports it. So I don't have a request in the packet tonight, but we do obviously need this referred to a committee unless council's willing to just, you know, have legislation drawn. But either or, we'd like to see it move so that we can get locked in at this price because this is the second or third revision. The price keeps going up because like everything else, material costs right now with inflation are just through the roof. So the quicker we can act, if council's willing to do so, whether it's through committee or moving things forward, the more helpful. But I know, Bryce, you had a second, just smaller piece that I think you wanted to bring up tonight.
Yeah, along with this, we are going to be partnering with another agency here in town or entity in town and working with Bass Telecommunications to get fiber optics out to Hedges. We can offer Wi-Fi. Again, another destination. We have this huge main selling point to be out at Hedges. What else could we add to our citizens' pleasure, you know, is the Wi-Fi. I'm having that. We all know how many events are out at Hedges already that could utilize the Wi-Fi as well. It's another benefit.
Yeah.
For the parks.
Yeah, so once completed, the goal would be like with downtown would be free Wi-Fi for anyone out at Hedges Boyer Park. And it would be funded through ads and different things that would play just like it does downtown. You have to watch a short ad video and then you get free Wi-Fi out at the park. So that's something that we hope to bring to all of you here in the very near future once we get things sorted out. But it's just going to be tremendous. I'm sure every one of you have been at Hedges on the 4th of July. You can't communicate on a cell phone. There is not enough service out there because of it. In fact, even where I live, and well, same with you, Bryce, you're just a few houses down. You struggle to get service at your own home because of how overloaded the network is. So this new fiber optic network out there with Wi-Fi should really help individuals be able to communicate with their families, whether they're at the pool, enjoying the fireworks. Bryce can actually call his staff if he needs to. It will just really improve the situation out there at Hedges. So,
and who knows where that could lead? It could lead to streaming the fireworks down the line even too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of extra benefits with that.
Yep.
You have a question?
Just a comment. A few years back, we actually lived in BG for a while, and BG has a pretty nice park, and they have a real nice kids section there. And to this day, I mean, that was 8 years ago, and to this day, my daughter still talks about going to BG Park. And if we're going to Toledo or somewhere there, she's like, well, let's stop in BG and go to the park. I'm like, you're 11. You don't actually want to go to the park. She's like, no, it's like the coolest park. We got to go. And, you know, it is. It's a nice park, and this is that park on steroids. Is exactly what that is. You know, it's got big slides, it's got a lot of equipment, and it's accessible for anybody. So I think we kind of get older and we still get excited for it, but not like they get excited for it, you know, and it's impacted her life that much still. It's pretty amazing that she still talks about it. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, hearing those stories, like just that, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing our job to get that.
Councilmember Yanatuno.
Since Brent Howard isn't here, can we go ahead and make a motion to move forward with it?
If you're acceptable to that, yes. Yeah, this group can make motions straight to the,
I would make a motion to accept the project.
Councilman Leopard,
I'll second the motion.
just a first and a second. Do I take a roll call?
no, this is just a motion to have him draw the legislation. So you
Okay.
just ask all in
All
favor.
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Okay, we'll have him have that drafted for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Leopard,
I still remember Lions Park in Jackson, Michigan, 60-plus years ago. But my real comment was, I remember what we spent on the updated playground equipment at Oakley Park, and I'm surprised the price is cheap on this. I really am.
Yeah, that was, if I remember right, that was like $125,000, $130,000, my first year here. So it'll be 8 years in April already. But
Well, it goes hand in hand. You all are also installing a lot more security cameras at the park as well, I know. Because we have had some vandalism issues, and I don't remember the exact number, but you just discussed that this morning, that you've got several more going up out there. And I think it's helpful to talk about that, because if people know they exist, they're even less deterred, I think, or less likely to cause incident out there.
yeah, it was actually COVID, right before COVID. Yeah. We had our first accident, and then the cameras went up 2 months later. But currently we have 12 cameras in 3 locations, and you guys did approve the capital budget, and we do have 8 more cameras getting installed here this spring too. And we'll have a bank of cameras obviously on this nice piece of equipment. But yeah, Hedges, the equipment that's out there now was put in 2002. So life expectancy is 15 to 20 years. Obviously your movable pieces, your teeter-totters and the seesaws like that, that's gonna wear down a lot more, just as anything mechanical would. But those are easy pieces to be replaced with, and it's not an issue for us to handle internally.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we've talked about with this, is that there'll obviously be a more stringent maintenance plan on this, so that we never come to council again with this kind of an expense. It will be replacing pieces at a time. This is a big one-time expense, but once we get it in place, we'll be able to replace a lot of things as we go, as they start to get worn, so there's never this kind of significant expense all at once again. And you know, they've thought about these things. So Mason, anything you want to say? You're just standing there to...
I'm just here for good times.
Well, you've come to the wrong place.
I really appreciate your guys' support of this. As I know, it means a lot to Bryce, and I think my first day on the job, he showed me, he rolled out, before they had the video, he rolled out, you know, the plans of the original playground that we had in mind, and kind of just fell into place with all the ADA compliance that the city's looking to do, and I think it'll be a great addition to everything we have to offer. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Councilman Jones, did you have something?
I told you, don't.
I want to get him signed.
Right, so Mason, I just had 2 items. The mayor touched on one. I was going to ask about revision 1, revision 2, because I saw that was revision 3, but I think the mayor spoke on that. And this surface, is there standing water, is there roll-off water, or?
So it's a porous material, so it is going to allow it to be breathable. So 57s, stones 57s are underneath it, packed, and then
What?
57s, stone material, just like they would put underneath a road to allow the water to, you know, weep through. And then it's the poured and play. It's like I said, porous, so it will allow it to free out naturally.
And if you get the chance, it's also the same surfacing that they did at Oakley Park.
Yep.
And 8 years later, I think is what Bryce said, that's holding up awesome.
Yeah.
So looks great still and serves its purpose. So.
And it's actually, and on top of that, we have Nature Trails getting, playground getting installed this year as well, with CDBG, and that is gonna be a poured and play surface too.
Yeah.
So.
We're not going to have anything left for your annual report to council.
I got more.
Well, it's interesting too, Councilman Jones, you ask about that. They even make, we can put in public sidewalks and even parking lots now that are that similar to that it's permeable pavement, that the water actually goes through into a catch system. So we haven't done any of it because it's quite expensive, but it's something that you can actually do now, is put in sidewalks and parking lots and all sorts of things out of permeable pavement. And strangest thing. It feels weird to even walk on, and it feels kind of soft and givey, but it's great for areas, especially that have low-lying areas where you need to put in some extra drainage or something.
Did you say Oakley Park's been 8 years? Wow, it looks mint. Looks brand new.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first.
Years ago.
Yeah. Bryce, what was the timeline on the cost? How long did they lock this price in for you?
15 days, but we can go back again.
When did that 15 days run out?
No, I did tell them kind of our anticipated timeframe, so they were aware that this would be a secured pricing. I said April 5th, we would have it hopefully be free.
Yep, we appreciate that. That will give council still time to read this 3 times if you're willing to. We would just ask that you put an emergency on it so it would go into effect immediately. Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, thank you both. You're welcome to stay, or if you didn't bring popcorn, you can head home. Okay, we appreciate that. We do have a second presentation. The first of our departmental annual reports is this evening. And we start off this evening with Director of Human Resources, Deborah Reamer, who's going to give you an update on how things are going in the city HR world. And this is, like I said, the first of the department presentations. The last one, I think, is the second meeting in May. So they'll be going all the way up until that point with different presentations so that you can hear what's going on in our various departments. Deborah.
I had to.
Councilman Jones, you need to slap her on the wrist. Look at all this ink that she just wasted. Look at this, look at this.
When you watch it, you'll know why.
The budget hawk will get you.
And in color too?
We'll be approving more money for them
That's a good one. When I practiced it today, I went, oh, I said, Nick.
Jim Roberts would say we killed another tree.
Wow, yeah.
You better watch it, Deb. He's going to get you.
I know he will.
There's probably more ink in here than that binders for the council.
I'm very cheap and you know that, frugal, so just letting you know that I'm very frugal when it comes to expenses. So thank you all. I don't know how I'm going to follow them. I mean, wow.
That's cool.
Just find a way to get $750,000 and you can beat it.
Well, I save money. I try to save money, not spend money, but yeah, it's a wonderful project. That's phenomenal what they're looking to do. Can't wait to utilize that for sure with grandkids and myself, actually. Because I'm one of those older people you were talking about. I would really enjoy that. So I'll be on there with them. So yeah, thank you all. And Nick's going to be my support because it seems when I do these videos, they don't want to go through. So it's just one of those things. And I'm going to apologize in advance that when I reviewed it today, it's very hard to read the white. I thought it was really nice when I did it. So that's why you have the color copies to kind of go along with it, like a presentation. So I do apologize for that.
Nick, if you would, just push the mic her way so we make sure it's picked up fully for everyone that's at home. Thank you.
All right, this is where we begin, and I said it's hard for me to see because it's so small. So I do apologize for that. All right, again, HR, just described, I'm the director of HR. You're aware of that, been here 11 years as of February 3rd. I can remember hiring Bryce. I remember what he wore. I know, it's all those details are important, and that's important to me when I bring somebody in to interview. But he was an exceptional hire for sure. HR is a department that's bound to customer service, first of all, when we say. Customer service is what you see is what you get. Employee retention, for sure. You need to retain people when you bring them in. Confidentiality is key in my position. Problem solving, for sure. Any given day, you never know if you're going to have 15 minutes or maybe an hour and a half, like today, with someone. Some may think that when you go to HR, it means a bad thing. I've been told that. You're in the HR office, you're being called in. 99% of the time, it's a good thing. I guarantee you that, for sure. The role of an HR as a director is to mentor and to guide, for sure, in the right direction, to make them feel welcomed and appreciated at all times. First impression is a lasting impression. It takes 12 positive experiences to outweigh the unresolved negative experience, for sure, because you're going to remember that first time experience. I remember that very well in healthcare when there was people coming in with their family members, and I remember them bringing their things in, and if somebody wasn't very nice, I always prided myself that the office next door came around and said, hey, how are you? We're really happy to see you. They were like, who are you? Well, it didn't matter. You were a smiley face. It's very important to start off on the right foot for sure and guide people to answers that may have, or if they don't have, you find out the answers for them. My philosophy is that you take 24 to 48 hours time frame to get them an answer to follow up, because that is exactly what they're waiting for. They're waiting for you to call them back. It's very important to get the right employee for the right position. That's why I do say for the city of Tiffin, it's very fun to interview. It's very exciting to bring people in, to talk to them, to learn a little bit about them for sure. And you have to get the right person for the position, because with the city of Tiffin, as we know, we're very fussy because they're representing the whole community, okay? Not just people count on those tax dollars and they want somebody they can count on, and we need to get the right person for that field. We conduct background checks, we check physicals, drug screens, all that information needs to be done before you even walk into this building to be an official hire. All must be successful potential employees before that official offer is put through. We do an offer, then we have a letter, and Dale puts out that appointment letter for sure through the codified ordinance information. Face-to-face is very important, okay? I know a lot of industries now are doing the virtual, okay? Even through the COVID, we chose not to do virtual. We made sure there was safety features put into place. We did our distance, we wore a mask, because you don't know until you see that person walk in the door, okay? Are they on time? Are they who you think they are? What's their presentation? Things like that. So very important to read that. First impressions count, and that may be on a resume, needs to reflect who they actually really are, okay? We get a lot of things in print, and it's not always what we receive. Retaining our employees is so important. Training a police officer takes up to 16 weeks, all right? That's a very long time, so you don't want to get into that 8th week. I know individuals will go to college, and they'll change their field of study. I did that for sure, and you say, I really don't like that. So it's really hard when you bring somebody in to a certain position with all that training, and a dispatcher as well. That's a lot of training. That's uniforms, that's time, that's overtime, getting them training with the trainer. Fire department, that includes a 2-week orientation just to bring them in. Then they're assigned a crew, wherever they're going to be assigned to. Then you hope they're going to get that individualized training with those people they're accountable to or they work with. When you think about cost, that becomes quite expensive. There are trained professionals, they're put into a field, and their lives are put at risk every single day. All right, now we're going to talk a little about cost. Ken, I'm going to apologize. It doesn't have anything to do with hash browns, because I know it costs a lot of money. But this cost a whole lot more money. And each year when they talked about cost, it's the same thing for our employees. Costs go up every single year for everything that we do. So when you look at the fire department, just to outfit one person for a new hire for a full set of structural turnout gear, this includes coats, pants, gloves, helmet that are personally fitted to that person. The total for that gear is $3,500. It's a lot of money. And it's very hard when you have certain people come in, as we do, and they decide weeks after they're starting this training, maybe it's not for me. We've had that situation. It has nothing to do with us, actually. It has everything to do with who they are. I firmly believe that, but that's a lot of money. Station Class A uniform cost, $1,350. That's why we need to retain you and we need to keep you if at all possible. Physical cost is what I do. I send them out for that physical and those fees, $873, and that just went up again this year. Totals over $5,000, almost $6,000 for one firefighter. Police department, when you look at our officers, to fit them in the uniforms and their equipment cost runs approximately $2,500 to $3,000. Their physical cost up to $647. Their costs are a little bit less. Not that they're any less important, but it depends on what they're doing, because those other individuals are masked and they need to take care of those kind of things. Total is $3,647. Dispatcher uniforms are $900. We used to give those out right away and fit you before you even walked in the door. We are not doing that anymore. We're making sure you're in the door. We'll give you something maybe casually to wear to make you fit the mold of the department at the current time. Each employer hired, as I said, must have their physical in the background and their drug screen. You're talking $45 for a basic physical, $47 for a drug screen, and $25 for a breath alcohol test. So $117 for just a basic individual to come in the door. And they're not any less important, they just don't need that expertise because they're not in the danger as these situations or people are. Staff for the city of 2021. Currently, I have 127 full-time and 10 part-time. You are classified as some of our part-time people. So full-time hires, 15 new in 2021, dispatcher, engineering aide, 6 in the fire department, finance tech 1, police officers, 3 of those, police executive secretary, and public works, those were 2. Part-time hires for 2021, 23 part-time. As I'm glad they presented tonight because I was just thinking last night when I couldn't sleep is we're going to have all those people coming in again. Even with the rehires, we have to make them that official offer to bring them back in. So it's very time consuming and costly to do that. One thing I've tried to do is I don't send you letters anymore, I email you. And I say, please correspond with me back. It's a big time saver and cost efficient. So I've implemented that probably 8 months ago to try to do some saving, to save on this paper deal, okay? So part-time, 1 councilman, Zach, all right, we got you in there. Parks and Rec, seasonal, 19 individuals, okay? Besides all the individuals we brought back to bring in. I do an official orientation for every single new person. If you've already been here, I don't make you suffer through it twice. But if you haven't been, I say, I don't care whether you're full-time, part-time, seasonal, casual, you're just as important. You need to know the same rules as everybody else because you're part of our team in the city, which is a great place to work and people to work with. So summer's a very busy time, as they talked about. We have parks to mow. We have a very small park department to take care of that. Plus, we have a public works department that has to maintain all that. I know in my former position, I was always doing citations for, well, Steve, remember how many times we talked about the grass? We were constantly on the phone with the grass because people don't want to mow their grass. You get over that 6 inches, you know, they just think it's just easy for us to do. But then there's cost involved where we have to go ahead and mow it, our expense immediately, but then we put it on their taxes. So it's not a very quick return. So if you look at the parks, we have 181 and 63 of those acres with 16 parks. That's a lot to maintain in that summertime. And you're talking 6 months period or plus. Parks and Rec, I've got them in the corner there. I asked everybody kind of give me a little bit about your department. That's wonderful to see, one of those summer camps. Parks and Rec, very busy running those day camps and maintaining all the parks and much more. They hold many summer camps, as they said before, which is a wonderful thing for the kids and for everyone, and especially for the parents. When you look at that, we do a lot of free things as well. 4th of July is the biggest event. Takes up so much time, but it's well worth it. I think it's one of those things we're really famous for besides the carnival. I mean, it's great to hear about Tiffin, Ohio, and yes, you live there, 17,963 people, so it's wonderful. Wintertime, it's just as busy. It's just busier doing different things. Kind of like Cedar Point, you have your on and your off seasons where, you know, the end of this week, we're going to find out, are we going to have these plows out there doing all that work, but you've got 7 lots to clean, and believe me, we know we get the calls when those lots are not clean, and the businesses need to get in there. Those that left the city in 2021, full-time for 2021, we'd had 8 total. Retired were 2. 1 was a police officer, 1 was from Public Works, long-term employee, both of those individuals. Dispatcher resigned. Executive secretary, she ended up going with the sheriff's department because she was trained with him and that's where she wanted to be. Fire department 4, a lot of this has to do with being closer to home. Literally, I do all the exit interviews. Very rarely does it have to do with us. I mean, I hear great things, especially with the new chief. I hear phenomenal things about him. Great to work with, so it's a pleasure to hear that. So it's important to do that. But a lot of those individuals, and you'll see in one of the publications I'm going to show you, he just left. Wonderful firefighter. I remember him coming in and talking to him, but he's going where his father was. And he said he wasn't going to do that. Well, he did it anyways. His dad was the chief there. So, you know, he went back and did that. So we can't fault him for doing that, and it's a good thing for him. He went back to where he originally came from. So that has a reason in there. I don't want it to be a negative for the city. It's great to come here for the city of Tiffin and not have the high turnover. I was in an industry before where I would hire 120, I'd lose 122 at any given time. It wasn't a fun place to be, so it's a pleasure here not to do that all the time. Charter Review Commission lost one of those individuals. She was temporary for the part-time. When an employee leaves, it's a responsibility of HR to get with them before they leave. We have them sign some paperwork. We make sure they're comfortable, that they know all their benefits, what they need when they go someplace else. So I'm in charge of taking care of all that in the emails, the liability insurance. We take them off their record, so that's a cost savings too. Exit interviews are conducted to retain employee feedback for sure. When I do get that, I've met with the mayor, the city administrator, hey, I've got some questions, maybe we need to make some changes. I've done changes in my hiring process as well due to that, which has been a big plus. Letting people know some things in advance. When I hire them, I send them their benefit package, in the first day or two. That way they've already got their questions answered and they feel good about being here, which is important. Great group of people here as well. That's why they have the curtain. All right, to the left here, you'll see Mr. Gaedo, been there a long time, hasn't retired yet. I think he's gonna be around a while. In the middle, we have Drew Westenbarger. He's at one of the schools showing all the students, which they have a great time doing that. Down here to the right, we've got Kerry Carell. It's a shame his son left. He could have seen that. His dad at work. It'd have been a good thing for him, which would be fun to tease him on. Steve Runyon and Gary Gaedo as well. Down to the left, you'll see Sergeant Watson. I told him he would be famous tonight, so be prepared to do some autographs. He said, I'm ready for that. So he's Safety City. In the middle, here's Drew again, and then you look to the right, there's Laney. This is what's great. These people give their time to do this. We do the trick or treat, which is a big event. And this year, every year it just seems to rain. I don't know why, and the weather's not very great, but they still do it. And it's wonderful to see. All those kids, that's Jennifer Som's children. I didn't even know that until I researched this. Just, those are my kids. I said, no wonder you sent me that. They're perfect. So I thought that was great. It's always a fun time. Promotions, great thing we do here. 10 total employees were promoted with a lot of things last year. 1 in finance department received a promotion, and that's a great feeling, Kathy, to be able to do that, right? Mm-hmm. That was a great feeling for that person. 5 in Parks and Rec department, 2 in the fire department, 1 in the police department, and then we offer step increases. We're different than other places. When people call me a lot of times and they want to know what we do, I can't just give them a basic answer because we're so different. I belong to a big HR group. I mean, it's different in a good way because we promote people differently than they do. It's kind of a mid-medium most thing. We're a mid-medium better than most is what I tell them because I believe we are. But when you look at it, we offer longevity after so many years. We offer a step increase. That's something to look forward to. And even hiring this last person, I told her the rate was this, but I called her and I was so excited. I said, hey, next year you're going to go to this because she was on the borderline. She said, that's wonderful. That's great. So, you know, having those conversations is important with individuals. The city is very fortunate to say we have employees that stay a long time. We do. I think that's the leadership that's given to them for sure. They know they can go to people. They know they talk back to them. They don't have to worry about answering questions. So keep that up, please. Very much keep that up. It's a true testament. I've got to say to everybody, it's an honor for them to work here. And one of the things I say in the interview, why should you be here? Because we're an exceptional place to work. And everybody's a family. They really are a family. We're a group here. Doesn't matter what department you're in. We're a family of one. Name changes. You may not think this is important. This is really important. Let me tell you why. Or an address change. I said I'm that close to being a mind reader, but I'm not quite there yet. If I need to reach you, being for an emergency, or you call me and I'm trying to call you back, I have no way to reach you. And they'll go, oh, I changed that 8 years ago. Could you let me know? So it's important because it pertains to your benefits and everything that goes into even your pension. You don't realize how important that is. So it really is. It may sound little to them, but it's important to us. Now another great group of individuals here. What a great group, I say, because it's fun. I got to do, when I was city administrator years ago, I got to fight a fire with some of these individuals. Let me say, I'll keep my day job. That's all I'm telling you. I was mad after 7 hours, and I didn't lose 1 pound after wearing that. I said, I don't know why y'all do this. I really don't. So, and then I found out I was very claustrophobic. But you just get over it. I said, I remember saying, let's roll. So you put that mask on, and you don't understand how intimidating that is. And you're fighting this fire, and it's right over your head. And I remember Chief Innes saying, are you crazy? It's right over your head. I said, this is the coolest thing ever. He goes, it's not cool, get out of here, the roof's gonna fall in. So, it is, it's fun, it's interesting. So, you've got here Keith Johnson, Matt Gaybauer, you've got Scotty Brooks, it's Scott Brooks, but I call him Scotty, we just all do, Eric Heiser, and then the last one is Matt Starcher. Now, Matt is the one that went to be where his dad is, but he's still in the picture, I didn't hold him from it. I didn't delete him, okay, because he's a really good guy. Responsibilities, a lot of responsibilities you don't even think about in HR. Human Resource Department has a wide scope of things that we have to take care of. We center around development of programs, processes that you don't even think about to improve maybe somebody's work performance. I've looked at ergonomics with people. I have a stand-up desk. I've told them firsthand what a great thing that is for me because, you know, you're standing and it's very good for your back. You're not sitting all the time, so I really love that because I look at all those safety. I was a safety director for years, so I try to look at those possibilities to maybe improve your workspace. You're responsible to meet with our employees regarding needs that they may have pertaining to benefits at all times. There's benefit issues, things that involve their job, keeping them updated with changes that maybe come with the city, wages, annual longevity step increases. I love it when they're surprised. I go, I didn't think I was due for this. I said, you are. Congratulations. So it's a nice surprise. Some people are expecting it, some it's a treat. And that's good to see. Policy changes that involve maybe them. The department plays an overall operational success, maybe to coach, to mentor. I have said over and over many times, I'm 75% counselor, and I truly believe that, and I think it's an honor. I really do, because in my office here, I was a little bit nervous to move upstairs because I'm a people person. It's been a blessing. It really has. I have much more time to meet with people. They're much more comfortable when they come upstairs. You know, they know the door is shut. You crank the music a little bit. Nobody's really up there. So they do come up, and it's a safe zone. Nothing is shared unless I feel I need to share it due to the respect of saving them regarding maybe an issue that's unsafe for them, or I feel they need more than maybe we can give them, okay? So that being said, a lot of things you can do. Train them, administrative duties, identify tools maybe you can contribute to them with their job, provide legal advice along with the law director if I have a question. I network with a lot of people trying to save money, but I also call Brent. Say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. 99.9% Brent are on the same page. So he's a great resource, he really is. It's a pleasure to be able to reach out to him. Often the responsibility to foster the culture and develop the overall mission. You know, maybe somebody comes in, I've had people come so upset, and I don't wanna say talk them off the ledge, but you do. You know, they're done, I'm not gonna do this anymore, this is what happened. I said, let's just talk about this a little bit, we can get through it. And we do, because it's not as bad as you think. And I think it's important to make them feel good and needed here, because when they go home, it's off their chest. They can relax. They know they can come here, they can talk, and it's very comfortable for them, so it's important. This is the hardest one to read, so I do apologize. Next year, I'll make really big print, and it won't be white, okay? So you see the cheers? Creating protocols, effective development, as well as departments that are part of. You need to be a part of everything maybe they do, because they do ask your input. Maybe sometimes I've had people say, I appreciate it, but I'm not gonna do that. That's fine, but they did ask. And then they'll say, maybe I should have done what you said. That's fine too. I don't take fault to anything they do, but if you ask me, I'm gonna give you the guidance or find you the answer to it if I can. Invest, transform value members into active contributing employees. They wanna be a part of more things than they are now. Even if they're in that department, but they wanna do something in another department, I very much encourage them to do that. I said, what's it hurt to ask? You know, there's no reason you can't do that. Responsible, again, for the confidentiality is huge. Provide employees a positive result to issues that they may need reviewed. Guidance on a daily basis. I mean, you set your schedule, like today. I said to Nick, hey, I want to go over this morning. Thank goodness I could feel it, that I wouldn't have time this afternoon. I did not. It was just, that's the day. You never know what you're going to face, and that's okay. I mean, it's exciting to learn something new all the time, or you're not consistently doing the same thing by any means. Many departments, it's a 24-hour operation, so I do get calls any given hour, any given day. It's acceptable. That's the way it's supposed to be, you know, and they expect you to be here. And that's fine, because they're deserving of that. Just because we're not here at their time doesn't mean they shouldn't get that answer. I called an officer tonight, and he goes, what are you doing? 6:15. I said, what do you mean what I'm doing? calling it back. So it's funny though, it's all good. So we have many departments: administration, engineering, finance, fire, HR, which is a party of one. I talk to myself and I get to answer myself, so that's not so bad after all. I don't always agree with myself, but then we have to settle it that way. Somebody came in the other day and I said, hey, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk this through, and I'm gonna talk to myself. She goes, you do too? I said, oh yeah, I do. So municipal court, parks and rec, police, public works, and wastewater treatment plant. City's very dynamic. When I talk to a lot of companies, they say, who do you talk to? Or who? I said, well, she said, this department said, you're very dynamic, that everybody has to come to the HR department, but they do, because a lot of places which were not that way, they'll have all these little routes, like when you look at, they go to this person, this person, this person. It's okay, it's good. So pertaining to benefits, FMLA, BWC, unemployment, we have to take care of. Turnout is almost immediate. Okay, notice the smile on the top there. Okay, I just shrink him to make some more room, but I thought he was just a great character. And I know one of the interview questions somebody called me about, they said, if you could be any animal, what would you want to be? They said a monkey. That's why I put it in here. Because monkeys are fun, they're energetic, and everybody loves them. They're not very nice, though. I can tell you that. They're not, because I know in the nursing home, somebody brought in a pet monkey. Didn't go very well. I stayed clear that time of the pet monkey. I was fine with not befriending that monkey. So staff maintenance, assistant, all that, as I said, the unemployment, BWC, we have to do hearings, handicap reimbursement, transitional duty is huge. Okay, you don't think about it, but with BWC, those of you that are familiar with it, when I get calls and they'll say, what do you mean transitional duty? I wrote a program that I presented to the state. That's one of the things. Actually, when I got this job, Wayne Stevens said, hey, I saw you present to the state. I wrote a program, and Dr. Anthony was with me. And one of the things we talked about was transitional duty. Well, what is that? It's like, if you can bring somebody back to work and transition them back in and not have them lose time, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in your BWC claim. There's no reason they can't come back. So I wrote a program, depending on each department. I get with the supervisor, I make sure the doctor's okay with it, and we bring them back. It's called transitional duty. Because when you do a report, I do a PERPS report every year, and then we do a report twice a year. It's supposed to be through the chamber, but I know I had that meeting today. They haven't been doing that because of COVID, but I still have to do it as a public entity. I don't know why, but we do. It's required by February. But when you look at all those things, the transitional duty is key, because if you leave them off after that 8th day, those medical claims, if you do a lumbar strain, you're talking $250,000. They put it in a group that sits here, and they're going to watch that, and they're going to keep it. And that person can be in that reserve for the end of 4, for the top of 5 years. That affects all your costs. That's why I say it's my responsibility to bring you back and to be able to do that. And the managers have been extremely receptive. They're very good with it. They know they need to call me in a time frame, because a lag time, which I'll show you in just a minute, a lag time is not good. When they see the lag time, that's where your costs go up. That's why I have to make sure, and we as managers have to make sure that we get them together. Okay, the responsibility is a burden on both of us to make sure we do that. Tasks are crucial, maintains the valuable staff members in order to maximize the potential in them. Try to keep them happy, smile, let them know you truly do care about them and who they are and what they do. It doesn't cost anything to do that. How's your kids? How's it going? Kindness costs nothing, but is valuable to those that need you. Giving your time and being a listener is key. Research, recommend, develop policies, procedures, provide training, as I said, advice, receive, resolve employee complaints, conduct investigations. When you have two sides, where this side, I had somebody call me today for a consultation. I said, call me on my lunch hour. They had a situation, it was not good with their individual. And they said, how do I handle this? I told them how to handle it. I said, I'll call you back. You know, they called me and said, I'll call you back at lunch, because there's two sides to every story. Don't ever assume because this is the most precious person in the world that they're telling you the truth. I found that out in many situations. Not so much here, but my past employers. So don't be so naive as to do that. That's why I have to take that time to investigate. I can't just give a quick answer. Receive and resolve that, investigations, benefit enrollments, change could be all the time. We do it at open enrollment period, plus all year long. If you have a lifestyle change, a qualifying event, we deal with those. You know, somebody has a baby, somebody has a divorce, or maybe their spouse switches jobs, and then this. COBRA reporting, very important because you have a certain time frame that you're regulated to do that. Employment verifications, we get those all the time. I access the VIP payroll program and try to get those turned around a lot of time, especially this year. A lot of people refinancing homes. And it's very important that we get that back to them right away. Head liaison, when we talk about the insurance, the benefit groups, and policies. FMLA, I don't know if any of you know what that is, but that's one of the things I talk about. It used to be a Monday, Friday Act. I'm honored to say at the city again, it's not a Monday, Friday Act. You do not have that issue here with the city, which is great. It says a lot about our employees. They don't just call off to call off. There's definitely a need. It's not just because they want to, okay? So FMLA, you have to work 1,250 hours, 12 weeks leave, up to 12 weeks leave. I need to be notified within 5 days. That's a regulation. Tell me, if I hear about it, I am required to get with you in 5 days. Plus, when I get your paperwork back, I'm required in 5 days to get back with you and give you that information to say you've been approved for that time. The past year, we had 21 individuals on FMLA. This year is not going so good, and we're in, what, February? It's okay, it's what we do. We had 134 employees at the end of 2021. My role, again, is safe. When people come in, I never discuss, ever, their qualifying event. I don't talk about them being off. One thing I do tell them, or the managers, is, even with the manager, I said, I'm not going to tell you about their condition. The employee can tell you if they want, but I'm regulated by my position. I can't share that with you, but I will share their time frame that they're off. So again, it's not discussed. HR is a role that's liberty. As I said, I can't go over things. That's why there's a lot. We do an operational dashboard. I can't talk about it when I put that operational dashboard. I can't discuss certain things because I wouldn't be doing my job if I were to be doing that. Okay. Mentor, again, sometimes you need to take the time to listen, give them answers. Time's important to us all. When we don't think we have the time, you understand when they come to you, they need you to make that time, no matter what. Get them an answer. I say now and always have, it costs nothing to show someone that you care and that they are important to you as an employee, okay? When they come in, how many times have you all heard, do you have a minute? I just have a quick question. I mean, that's all the time. Absolutely. You know, are you busy? Nope, not doing a thing. All the time. And I laugh, I go, yeah, come on in. So, hiring. A lot that goes into hiring, extremely important, as I said before. Once you're hired, keep them in here, do the training, and show them that you care. All right, this is where Nick comes in. It's not that long, I promise you. This guy, real quick, Nick. This guy, obviously, I picked him because I went through a lot of videos. He's funny to a point. His hair, he must be working at home. And his shirt's a little wrinkled. I was waiting to hear a dog bark in the background, but I didn't hear it. We're good. Thank you.
Good day, everybody. Hope this finds you well. Today, our subject is, what's it like to work in HR? We've talked about some of the particulars about HR, but a question I often get is, what is it really like to be an HR professional? Even on a daily basis or a weekly basis, what's it like? What's the profession like? So I thought I'd give you a couple of examples or a list of what it's like to work in HR on a daily or weekly basis. First, our primary responsibility is to optimize the potential of our employees. So that rules everything we do. Whether we're trying to hire somebody, evaluate somebody, promote somebody, discipline somebody, the main goal of us in human resources is to optimize the potential of people who work there. So our day has to be directed towards, is this going to increase, raise the performance of our employees? Whether it's a new health plan, whether it is a new plan related to chiropractic, whether it's increasing their pay, it all comes back to, is this going to increase the potential, optimize the performance of our employees? The second thing we do on a daily basis is work with people. It's a people-oriented job. You have to like people. That doesn't mean some people don't, but some people would rather have a job where they get to analyze numbers. I would like to have a job where they work in a desk and they're creating a project or creating some kind of design and they like to work themselves, and that's totally fine. Everybody has their own comfort level. And so our comfort level is what works best for you. But in HR, it's a people-oriented position. We deal with employees who have issues on their coverage, employees who have issues with their supervisor. We deal with applicants who want to work for our firm but haven't applied yet, and they're interested in how they have to apply. We work with our supervisors, our leaders, who want to figure out how to lower employee costs. It's a people-oriented job, and you really have to not only like working with people, but you want to have this thought that you want to work with people to help them in their life. And I love it, but some people don't, but that's the second. The third is we really spend quite a bit of time giving advice and counsel to people, which means you have to have a degree of credibility, but we spend a considerable amount of time with, in this case, two areas, employees and managers, giving them advice and counsel on a variety of situations, whether it's they're performing at level 3, but they got to get to level 4. Are the budgets coming out for a manager and they're X amount over their budget and they have to reduce some costs, which means do you eliminate this person or that person, reduce expenses related to overtime, or actually lay somebody off? So we spend a lot of time providing this advice and counsel. You hope that you're competent. You hope that you're respected, because as an HR professional, when you give that advice, if you're respected, then it's really going to work out quite well. Fourth is there is a component of our job that's very much about research analysis and making a reasoned judgment. If we're working in labor relations and we're negotiating a new contract, it's about researching what options we have, determining the best option to present to the union, having a fallback position, a contingency plan based on the negotiations, and then coming up with a reasoned judgment that solves the problem. So there's quite a bit associated with human resources, this research and analysis aspect. I tend to like that. I started in my career some years ago as an analyst working for a police department, actually. And so this is right up my alley about I really like having a problem and trying to figure out what are some possible solutions and then recommending the best solution to the issue. Hopefully that gives you a sense of what HR is like today. It's, I think those are fairly common. Differences exist. I certainly like to hear from you what some of the differences would be. But in general, if you want to work in HR and you want to know what a typical HR department does, first thing is their primary and sole, in some ways, consideration is optimizing human potential. We're going to spend time trying to figure out how to make the best out of the employees we have. Second is you work with people on a daily basis, absolute daily basis. So you've got to like people. It's just a must. Third is that you provide advice and counsel throughout your day to management, but also employees. Employees have problems with their managers. And so it's advice and counsel. And if you give great advice and counsel, you're going to be one of the most respected people in the organization. But you spend a lot of time in meetings talking to people and providing advice and counsel. And last, there's a component about research analysis and reasoned decisions. Research analysis, reasoned decisions. And analyzing, researching, and then coming up with the preferred way to go. Those are the 4 things that I see on a daily basis of HR. Again, I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully this is meaningful to you, but we look forward to, in any way, we look forward to chatting with you in the next video as well. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, you definitely have to like people if you're in HR. You can't be in that business if you don't. BWC updates, I'll just go over this real quick because it's hard to read. Again, and I do apologize, I tried to extend it. There's just so much information. Just to give you an idea about BWC, when you look at 2017, clear over on the left, how high we were in allowed claims summary, that's where we work hard to bring our people back. You look how low it is in 2021. That's a good thing for us. That's where we say we're at a certain level compared to other municipalities. We're doing extremely well. And that has a lot to do with our individuals and, safety. You need to put safety first and make sure those guidelines are in place. When I talked about allowed claim leg time, you see 2019 was not good. I just switched providers with our MCO, okay, because there was a lot of lag time. And that hurts our amounts and what we get back. So that's why I did some research in that. So as you see, we're doing better for sure. Next one, we just see the poor guy on the right. That's a lumbar strain. You see a lot of those where they tweak their back doing just a little bit of nothing. It can easily happen. When you look at this, claims by the week, a lot of them on a Tuesday. I don't know if it's tequila or Taco Tuesday. I don't know. There's a lot on a Tuesday. Okay? I mean, just my guess.
Hurt your back.
Yeah, it's
Sneezing.
It's a heavy tequila bottle.
it's just my guess. I'm always looking at these and trying to research and going, I'm not getting it, you guys. So June, a lot of things going on in June. That makes sense. It's warmer weather. Things are happening. We're out more. Okay? But when you look at a claim, as I said, the lumbar strain, if that person has conditions and they're being treated at that time, it's very important to bring them back right away because they're going to follow them for years, for 4 years to 5 years. That's why you want your people successfully back and to show they're not having any issues. And then they have a time that within 2 years, if there's no activity in that 2-year claim, they drop off that claim. They can't come back. It's a new claim completely. And that's happened to us where somebody said it was like 26 months. I said, I'm sorry. It's going to be a new claim if you have any claim at all. Okay. Again, short and sweet on here, just talks about some cost. We're doing very, very well. But when you see we don't have a lot of medical cost, which is incredible, but there's a lot of drug cost. Not high drugs, but there's some drug cost in there. Right. You don't see the surgery cost in there, which is definitely a good thing. On here, this one talks about expenses, treatments, things you're going through. These are all people that I have to network with and get to know a little bit about and talk to and make sure we get the billings going when they're supposed to be, because it's very important to put things in the right place. And if something's billed wrong under the wrong code, that'll affect your cost for sure. All right, good. We're just about there, I promise you. Okay. Red, there we go.
Imagine there's no HR.
I'm sorry, I thought it was hilarious.
It's hard to even
I had to. And I love the song. I went, yep, this is it. It was so funny. I had to end with the funny
land of purpose. A culture to live by. Imagine all the people living uninspired. Ooh, what we need are the dreamers who create and innovate. New directions and advances to connect and celebrate.
You know, trying to imagine a world without HR, the first thing I think of is chaos. Just trying to manage the administrative side of it along with benefits and hires and promotions and raises, things like that, it would be impossible.
We need HR to help us recruit, retain, and develop our professionals.
To provide me with some strategic vision, new trends that are going on, and how best we can make our company the best place to work.
To be collaborative and innovative.
Build a culture where the best people can do their best work.
Having the best HR professionals is critical.
I have trusted partners who are aligned with our organization's mission and vision of great service to the community. They help us manage our greatest asset, which is our people.
You know, for me, that's the glue that brings it all together is the HR department.
A world without HR, I can't imagine it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
you.
All right. Thank you, Deb. Anyone have any questions?
Councilman Leopard.
Comment, not a question, but next year when you choose your zoo animals, can you ditch the monkey and get a leopard?
Never thought about that. Great idea. Yeah, I'll work on that. Oh, you're gonna be here, I'll definitely.
Great presentation.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. And I really want to do Tequila Tuesday, but I'm gonna stick around.
I need it.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay, I will be kind to you all, and since I had 2 presentations under my report, call it quits this evening. But if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for the mayor? All right, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Clerk of Council Ann Forrest.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report this evening regarding the street improvement bonds that are being presented under Ordinance 22-22. We received a letter from Squire Patton Boggs explaining the proceedings, and I have in my possession the fiscal officer's certificate signed by Kathy Kaufman, bond ordinance, the bond purchase agreement, and the bond registrar agreement. And that concludes my report.
Any questions? Seeing none, Director of Finance Kathy Kaufman.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. And Director of Law is absent this evening. We are now under written communications.
We have Finance Director's request for legislation, number F22-7, to amend the 2022 Budget Ordinance 21-105 to appropriate funds into the park, police, and shade tree budgets.
Finance Director's request for legislation number 22-7 has been prepared for tonight's meeting as ordinance 22-1. A copy of the request will be held on file in the clerk's office.
That concludes the written communications.
Thank you. We are now under oral communications. Anyone wishing to address council may step to the podium, sign in, and direct their questions to Council President. Okay. Seeing none, we are now under motions. Are there any motions this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we are now under resolutions and ordinances.
Resolution number 22-9, introduced by Zach Perkins. A resolution declaring the necessity and intention of the city of Tiffin to appropriate the fee simple interest in certain described real property for the purpose of making and repairing a road which shall be open to the public without charge, known as Ellis Street River Bridge.
This is the third reading of Resolution 22-9. Councilman Perkins.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask for passage of Resolution 22-9.
Thank you. There's a motion to pass Resolution 22-9. Is there a second? Councilman Leopard.
I'll second the motion, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I just had a question.
Oh, yep.
They were hoping to have a deal done for this. Did they not come to an agreement? You know?
February 10th.
What's that?
February 10th.
February 10th, okay.
I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that was the date. Yeah.
Closing, February 10th.
Yeah.
So this won't be necessary, or?
Without Brent here, I would just say that we go ahead and pass it, and if it's not necessary, we just don't enact it.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was unfortunately due to my 10 meetings that I told you about earlier.
Right.
I did not have time to call them, and I intended to.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please. On the passage.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay. Councilman Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
And Yanatuno.
Yes.
Resolution 22
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Jones.
Yes.
Apologies.
Resolution 22-9 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Resolution number 22-11, introduced by Daniel Perry. Resolution approving mayor's appointment of Tracy S. Stark to serve a term on the Tiffin Civil Service Commission from the effective date of this resolution until December 31st, 2027.
This is the first reading of Resolution 22-11. Councilman Perry.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask for passage of Resolution 22-11.
There's a motion for passage of Resolution 22-11. Is there a second? Councilman Rhodes.
Yes, Madam President, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. There's a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote on the passage.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 22-11 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Resolution number 22-12, introduced by Daniel Perry. Resolution approving mayor's reappointment of Sally Stinchcomb to serve a 5-year term on the Tax Incentive Review Council from the effective date of this resolution until December 31st, 2026.
This is the first reading of Resolution 22-12. Councilman Perry.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask for passage of Resolution 22-12.
There's a motion for passage of Resolution 22-12. Is there a second? Councilwoman Yanatuno.
I'll second, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote on the passage.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 22-12 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 22-11, introduced by Zach Perkins. Ordinance amending 2022 budget ordinance 21-105 to appropriate $150,000 in the sewer engineering service expense line for the Household Sewer Treatment Systems, HSTS, elimination project.
This is the third reading of Ordinance 22-11. Councilman Perkins.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like for council's passage, to ask for council's passage of ordinance 22-11.
Thank you. There's a motion for passage of Ordinance 22-11. Is there a second? Councilman Perry.
I'll second, Madam President.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote on the passage.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-11 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 22-13, introduced by Jeff Rhodes. Ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept a Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, energized community grant and declaring an emergency.
It's the second reading of Ordinance 22-13. Councilman Rhodes.
Yes, Madam President, I would like to ask for suspension and passage of Ordinance 22-13.
There is a motion for suspension of Ordinance 22-13 and passage. Is there a second?
I'd like to second the motion.
Yes. Thank you. There's a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 6-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 6-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-13 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 22-15, introduced by Steve Leopard. Ordinance authorizing the conveyance of property to ZRB Brewers LLC or its designee adjacent to 190 South Washington Street, Tiffin, Ohio, as approved by the mayor.
This is the second reading of Ordinance 22-15.
Ordinance number 22-16, introduced by Ben Gillig. Ordinance amending Section 1129.04 of Tiffin Codified Ordinances establishing plan review, inspection, and testing fees for services provided by the engineer's office for private development involving public infrastructure, and amending Sections 909.07G and 909.09A11 of Tiffin Codified Ordinances establishing inspection fees for services provided by the city engineer's office under the storm water management regulations.
This is the second reading of Ordinance 22-16.
Ordinance number 22-18, introduced by Steve Leopard. Ordinance to revise the codified ordinances by adopting replacement pages thereto and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of Ordinance 22-18.
Ordinance number 22-19, introduced by Zach Perkins. Ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a local public agency LPA contract for the 2023 urban paving project, authorizing the city administrator to prepare plans and specifications, advertise for and receive bids, and recommend and execute a contract for the project, and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-19. Councilman Perkins.
Yeah, I would like to ask for council's suspension of the 3 reading rule and a suspension for this ordinance here.
There's a motion. You're fine.
Same time.
You're fine. There's a motion for suspension of ordinance 22-19 and passage. Is there a second? Councilwoman Yanatuno.
I'll second, Madam President.
Awesome. Thank you. There's a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Yes,
I
Councilman
believe
Perkins.
that this is really just for us to get the lowest price possible on these bids, if that's correct.
Yeah, keep it moving and on schedule.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 6-0. We will now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 6-0. We will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-19 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 22-20, introduced by Zach Perkins. Ordinance responding to petition number 108, vacating an alley in Davis Estate Addition running east from Oak Street in the 2nd Ward of the city of Tiffin, Ohio.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-20.
Ordinance number 22-21, introduced by Zach Perkins. Ordinance amending 2022 budget ordinance 21-105 to appropriate a total of $16,139.51 into the park, police, and shade tree budgets.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-21. Councilman Perkins.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask council for suspension and passage of ordinance 22-21.
There's a motion for suspension and passage of ordinance 22-21. Is there a second? Councilman Perry, sorry.
I'll second, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 6-0, and we will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Leopard.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yanatuno.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 22-21 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 22-22, introduced by Zach Perkins. An ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount not to exceed $3,250,000 for the purpose of improving Progress Parkway and Fair Lane between certain termini and adjacent city property by grading, draining, curbing, paving, constructing sidewalks, curb ramps, sanitary sewers, water lines and storm sewers, and storm water detention basins, and installing and improving catch basins, fire hydrants, manholes, street lighting and traffic signs, signals, and signalization where necessary, in each case together with the necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, including certain related and required improvements to U.S. Route 224, County Roads 1 and 54, and Township Road 18, and acquiring real estate and interest in real estate in connection therewith, and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 22-22.
And that concludes the legislation tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. We are now under other business. Is there any other business, council, tonight? Yes.
I forgot to mention it during my report. I had a note here. One quick item that we wanted to share with you all, the traffic signal at the intersection of Market Street and Frost Parkway. We're going to do a study on that beginning March the 1st out by Kiwanis Manor. It's the one right in front of Kiwanis. The city engineer's office did traffic counts there, and it's way under the volume that it should have for a signal, so they're going to study that intersection, and then we'll have a full report to you all once the period that they go through having the light and flash and whatnot to see how it goes. So the city administrator did sit down, he had a conversation with the administration of Kiwanis. They're okay with things, so we're going to do a study and see if it backs up what the engineer's office believes exists there based off of their traffic counts. So just to keep you all updated in case you get any calls, that begins March 1st.
Yes, Councilman Jones.
Other business, we talked about the first reading on ordinance 22-22. Before we get to the second reading or the third reading, there's a big word in here, and I have no idea what it is. It's necessary, I probably can't even pronounce it. Appurtenances. What is necessary appurtenances in?
Appurtenances.
Miss?
Appurtenances.
One more time?
Appurtenances.
Oh, thank you, okay. There you go. I can't spell it or pronounce it, I don't know what it is, so.
Shorter word would be accessories. It literally is any accessories that are needed as part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Leave it to Brent.
Yeah, right. Actually, I think it was our bond counsel that.
Yeah, it was probably John Larson and Katie, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Councilman Jones?
No, not tonight.
Don't tempt him.
Dare I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? All right, thank you.
Good night.
Coming from Perry, turn the left onto Martin Street Bridge.
Right.
That light just stays red.
Could be it.
Used to be able to pull in that.
Oh, did you see what the mirror did?
Just park in and whip around it, and then they put the big blocks in.
Yep, put the block, yeah. Yeah, so they're going to